Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is "The Race is On." And that is because yesterday we had a fabulous full moon lunar eclipse at 12 degrees of Leo. And the reason the race is on is because it set up a grand trine in the dynamic, fast-acting fire signs. And that is because the full moon in Leo was trining Uranus in Aries, and those two planets were trining Mars, which has now moved into Sagittarius. So there could be an urgent need for some people to perhaps get out of town, or maybe even out of the country, since Sagittarius does rule foreign countries. And that could be perhaps because they want to get away from something. Maybe they want to evade their enemies, or maybe they want to make a new beginning, because after all, Uranus is in Aries, the sign of new beginnings. Or maybe they simply want to make a break for their freedom, so they need to get to a new destination, and that could happen as well. It's also possible that they could be beating a hasty or strategic retreat in order to escape the long arm of the law. Who knows? Because under a full moon, we know that the sun opposes the moon, but there was a lot more than that going on under this lunar eclipse. And that is because that full moon in Leo yesterday at 12 degrees of Leo was being opposed strongly by Mercury, which has just moved into Aquarius. It's at 0 degrees. And the sun is in Aquarius, and it is conjuncting Venus, which is also in Aquarius. So those three planets, which rule the future, are in the sign of the future, are opposing that full moon in Leo. And Jupiter in Scorpio is squaring all three planets in Aquarius, and it too is squaring the full moon in Leo. And so that simply means, since there are so many planets in Aquarius, which rules the future, it means that the future is calling some people, but not others. And so we have to understand that. And remember, I said that the race is on for a variety of reasons. So it is possible that, since Leo does rule royalty, that a monarch or a leader could decide to relinquish their role right now, perhaps due to financial concerns. Remember, Jupiter in Scorpio, which is a fixed financial sign, is squaring that full moon in Leo. And it could be that they are worried about financial concerns, or it could be that somebody in a high position may decide to relinquish their tight grip on others, because there are those people who refuse to be controlled by others who are behind the scenes pulling strings in order to satisfy their insatiable desire for power and prestige. So it can be that there are some changes at the top, or there can be a race on to get away from people whose grip is a little bit too tight on things, or it could be their grip is just slipping. And so what it all means is that the game is up. And the game is up because it's up for anyone who has been or is currently breaking the law. And why is that? Well, we have to look a little bit more closely at those three planets that are in the fire signs, all trining each other. Because actually, when you take a little closer look, you can see that all three planets forming this dynamic grand trine are by themselves individually being harshly squared by other planets, and that can weaken them as well. So for instance, that full moon in Leo is being opposed by the three planets in Aquarius, as I said, and also being squared by Jupiter in Scorpio. And so that means that there can be a lot of disagreements, since fixed signs don't budge, about money and power, and certainly about the future. So that isn't too great, because there are too many planets, 5 of them, in fixed signs harshly aspecting each other. And then that Uranus in Aries is also being squared forcefully by Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. It's very strong there, much stronger than Uranus in Aries is. And so that simply means that people with very traditional values that sort of like to see things go according to rules and regulations are going to prevail now. And it could be people with a lot of experience or people who are at the heads of things. They are going to prevail, and so their standards, which can be very high, will have to be met. And then the third planet in the grand trine in fire signs is Mars, which has just moved into Sagittarius. However, Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, is there, and it is strongly squaring that Mars in Sagittarius. And because Pisces rules hidden things behind the scenes, it simply means that a revelation about hidden activities behind the scenes could certainly promote a call for justice right now, because that Neptune in Pisces is trining Jupiter in Scorpio, which is the sign of justice. But if we wanted to adjust our microscope and get a little closer look at the planets, we could see that that Neptune in Pisces is at 13 degrees, and it is precisely trining the sun sign of the United States, which is at 13 degrees of Cancer. And so that simply means that some revelation about hidden activities behind the scenes will not only promote justice, but it could benefit America greatly once all the truth comes out. And so we'll take a look at Jupiter in Scorpio, which is trining that Neptune and is also trining the sign of Cancer. Jupiter is at 21 degrees of Scorpio today, and 21 is a Jupiter number. For instance, the 21st of any month is a very lucky day. It's when you should look your best and try to go for something you really want, because you might just get lucky and succeed at that. So not only is Jupiter in Scorpio, but it's on the exact degree, the 21st degree, that rules that planet. And it is also trine the sun sign of the United States. So a revelation about something that's really a hidden travesty, something that's really going wrong behind the scenes, is greatly going to benefit America once justice is done. And that might be why the race is on, because some people might want to evade the long arm of the law. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, it simply means that you could be a little bit uncomfortable about the fact that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun, indicating that people with a lot of experience, or people sort of at the top, want to do things in a traditional and correct way. And that might either appear to be boring to you, or something that's completely unnecessary, and that's what might make you a little bit uncomfortable. Because after all, Aries, if you wanted to make a quick move right now, you really could. And it might be because you've got to get out of town. It might be because you want to go back to school. Sagittarius does rule higher education, and your own ruler Mars is there trining your sun. Or it might just be that you want to break free of constrictions in your life somewhere and start in a new direction. So you really could do that right now, Aries. So if you wanted to make your move, now's the time. But you better think about the consequences as well, because that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are never going to stop squaring your sun sign until 2020. They're going to be around no matter where you are. And so it can be that we're entering a new era of conformity, and if it's uncomfortable for you, you make your move right now, Aries, because otherwise you are going to have to conform. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time with 5 planets in the fixed signs all squaring or opposing your sun sign, when I think that you are going to run into a little bit of trouble, and it could be financial. And the reason why is that the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo is squaring your sun, and Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, your own ruler in Aquarius, are also squaring your Sun, and Jupiter in Scorpio is opposing your Sun sign. That's a little too much for you to deal with. It means you can be facing challenges in a lot of different ways. And so remember, Taurus, I said that the future is calling some people, but not others. And it's possible that some future plan or idea that you have had or goal is not going to turn out the way you think. And that is because perhaps of financial problem, or it could be that somebody else is being very competitive. Maybe if you're going for some sort of promotion or job, someone else is too, and they might get it. Or it can simply be that something from your past, and particularly a financial matter from your past, has to be reckoned with first before you can go forward in your future. So I think you've got to back up a little bit right now, Taurus, and address something from your past, because I don't think the future is going to turn out quite the way you wish it would right now. So you might have to backtrack. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when, since we are having an eclipse, which just happened yesterday, and it's a full moon lunar eclipse, when every single eclipse this year, and there are 5 of them, are all going to sextile or trine your Sun, Gemini. Lucky you. And that's what happened yesterday. That full moon lunar eclipse in Leo sextiled your Sun. Uranus in Aries is sextiling your Sun. That means if something unexpected occurs, it could benefit you. And it also means that if there is a reason to get into some sort of competition, that could benefit you as well. And the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Aquarius are all trining your Sun. So, boy, do you have a lot of opportunity to go in different directions right now, Gemini, and I think you're going to be very lucky. Even if something sudden happens to somebody else, it could provide an opening for you, which would be great. The thing you do have to watch out for is the fact that Mars has now moved into Sagittarius, and it is opposing your Sun sign. And so you have got to beware or be on your guard against really vicious competitors or people who are jealous or envious or can simply be malicious and want to harm you in some way. So you have to not only keep your guard up and your back to the wall, but you have to be wary of anybody who wants you to do anything too quickly, because Neptune in Pisces is also squaring your Sun, and that means they could really be lying. And you would have to test people a lot right now to verify that what they're saying to you is the truth. So even though you can have a lot of different opportunities right now, I would double check some of them to make sure that they're valid. But it does look as if the future is calling anybody, Gemini, it is you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that some hidden revelation or a revelation about hidden activities behind the scenes, which can be sort of a travesty, they can be pretty bad, can promote a call for justice, and that will greatly benefit you, Cancer. And that is because Neptune in Pisces is exactly trining the 13th degree in your sign, which is a critical degree, and where the Sun is in the United States chart. And Jupiter is right on that 21st degree of Scorpio, which is a Jupiter number, and it too is trining your Sun. So when some truth comes out in the open, and we can heal from it once it is corrected through justice, we can all be feeling a lot better, we can trust each other more, and that will bring you peace of mind, Cancer. And so there is something coming out soon that is going to benefit you. And since that full moon was right ahead of your Sun sign, you can see some people that are sort of in a big hurry or have an urgent need to change places with others right now. And if I were you, I would just be an observer, Cancer, because you don't really have to do anything yourself to correct an error. It's going to get corrected. Justice will be done, and it will make you much happier when that happens. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, This is a time when, with that full moon lunar eclipse in your sun sign, when you really are going to have to be very, very careful. Because yes, there is a grand trine in the fire signs. That means you could move really fast. That means that if you feel like being competitive, or you want to travel, or you want to get out of town or even out of the country, you could succeed at that, Leo, because Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, and so is Mars in Sagittarius. But on the other hand, they too are being challenged, and so they may not be as much help to you as you would wish. And also there are 5 planets in the fixed signs, and the 3 planets in Aquarius are opposing your sun sign, and Jupiter in Scorpio is squaring it. And remember, I said that the future is calling some people but not others. I don't think it's really calling you right now, Leo. And the reason why is that there are financial problems that you need to sort out. And also, you could have a great idea for the future, but so do other people. And other people want to be on their way. They may want to escape any type of tight control that you have over them, and so they may decide to go for their freedom. Well, that would be expensive to you as well. So I'm urging you not to move too fast right now, Leo. And believe me, if you are making any kind of a change, it's going to cost you more than you think. So try not to be extravagant with your money right now, because I think it's going to cost a little bit more just to cover the basics instead. And there will be a change in your life. When there is a lunar eclipse and the moon is opposing the sun, we often say that one woman goes and another woman comes, because the moon rules women. And so there could be a change in a relationship in your life, Leo, and that's why I urge you not to move too quickly right now. Think before you act. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time with that full moon lunar eclipse in Leo right behind your sun sign, when there is an awful lot of light in the background of your life. And that simply means that people can see how you interact with the things that Leo rules, such as children, or sports, or the entertainment field, or gambling, or love affairs. That's easy to see in your life right now, Virgo. And so this is a time when I hope that you have sort of been doing everything right, because there is just the tiny possibility that somebody in your life could want to escape or get out of town or make some quick move, and that might catch you by surprise. Well, okay, go ahead and be surprised, because when all the dust settles, it means the game is up for somebody, but it won't be you, Virgo. It'll be somebody else. And it will be that they have to face the truth right now. And they may not like that, but they'll have to do that. And since Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun, it simply means that you've got your work cut out for you this year, and you will be facing demands from people who are pretty high up. And the reason why they're demanding a lot from you, Virgo, is because you're so good at delivering. So you don't need to worry about working harder. It's really going to take you far in the long run. And if I were you, I would stay out of arguments about other matters right now. Let other people solve their own problems. You could be too busy just working hard. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when, just like Gemini, that lunar eclipse in Leo will benefit you. And that is because it was sextiling your sun. And a sextile represents opportunities. But it gets better than that, Libra, because Mercury, the sun, and Venus, your own ruler, which is being conjuncted by the sun, are in Aquarius, and they are trining your sun. So for sure, Libra, the future is calling you. And you should sort of wake up and listen to new ideas that other people have. Or if you have some new ideas, you need to go talk to somebody about them, Libra, because it could lead you on a future path, and that could take you away from the past. And you do need to get away from the shadows of the past, Libra, and just get on to something new. And it looks like you're going to have a wonderful opportunity to do that. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, This is a time when you need to be a little bit cautious because, Scorpio, remember I said the future is calling some but not others? I don't necessarily think it's calling you, Scorpio. Even if you could have a lot of plans for the future, you might get a little bit hung up on something from the past that you have to attend to first. And that is because there are so many planets in fixed signs in harsh aspect to each other. Mercury, the Sun, and Venus in Aquarius are squaring your Sun where you have Jupiter, and the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo is also squaring your Sun. And so if there is a revelation about hidden activities that you've been involved with behind the scenes, when it comes out, you will have to correct them in one way or another. That's why I don't think the future is calling you at the moment, because you're going to have to deal with something that you have either been neglecting or hiding from people, and you'll just, it could be something that you've just put off for so long that, now's the time that you really do have to do that. And that is why I think that you're going to be a little bit stuck right now, Scorpio. Try not to get in arguments about money, power, or the future, because nobody's going to win those arguments right now. Instead, if you want to do anything, work quietly on something behind the scenes that maybe needs to be corrected or brought up to date somehow. And when you get that handled, perhaps then you can face a better future. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when I think that you may want to move very, very quickly, and you could. After all, Mars is in your sign right now, and Uranus in Aries is trining it, and so was the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo yesterday. So if you wanted to move fast, if you wanted to make a new beginning, if you wanted to get out of town, you could. And if you wanted to escape your enemies, well, maybe you could do that too. But even though the race can be on for something in your life right now, Sagittarius, I'm not so sure you can trust everybody, so you better be a little bit careful and sort of watch where you walk. Because Neptune in Pisces, which is very strong right now and is being backed up by a trine from Jupiter in Scorpio, is squaring your Sun. And so there are some people that want to lead you down a path that maybe you better not go on, Sagittarius. So I really think you should step back right now and try to think of the legal ramifications of any step that you're thinking about taking, because I'm not so sure that the future is calling you right now, Sagittarius. And that might be all right, because if it's a future that's going to get you in trouble, if I were you, I'd step back. Remember, Mars is not a loving planet. It's one that can get you in trouble, so be careful. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time, since the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo was 150 degrees away from your Sun or in conjunct, when you may not be involved in a race to anything. You may not have to be Capricorn, because you have Saturn, your own ruler, in your sign along with Pluto, and they are very staunchly secure, and they can be making you powerful in your own right. In other words, you really do know what you're doing. You can be pretty happy about where you are right now. And even if you haven't reached a final destination with all those good planets in Aquarius right ahead of your Sun sign, the future is calling you, Capricorn, so I hope you listen, because it could broaden your outlook and it could lead you to new exciting things, and that's the way to be happy. So I hope you listen to the call of the future right now. All right, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury are all in your sign. Well, the future is not only calling you, it is probably parked on your doorstep right now, Aquarius. And you can certainly be seen in a good light, because Venus is conjuncting the Sun in your sign. However, the full moon lunar eclipse yesterday was opposing your Sun sign, and Jupiter in Scorpio is squaring it. And that simply means that even though the future is calling you, you've got a few financial matters you've got to attend to first, and they could involve the administration of justice in one way or another. So you might have a debt or a bill that you really do finally have to pay, or it can be that there can be a change in your life, sort of where one woman goes and another woman comes. And that is something I don't think you can escape, Aquarius. But just remember, you're being seen in a wonderful light right now, so don't be shy. Get out and socialize. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when I think that you can be quite helpful in the revelation of hidden activities behind the scenes that could promote justice. And that means you could be on the side of the angels. And if you can help in that, it could end up healing a great travesty or correcting a great problem that does need to be solved. So that would be great, because Neptune in your sign is trining Jupiter in Scorpio, and it's exactly trining the sun sign of the United States today. So that would be good, and whatever you could do to help bring justice about, that could make America better as well. The thing you do have to watch out for, though, is people who can really want to be quite challenging and even harmful to you, and that is because Mars has now entered Sagittarius and is squaring your sun. So just like Gemini, you have got to keep your back to the wall and keep your guard up at all times, Pisces. And don't believe everything everybody's telling you, particularly if they are suggesting any activities which could get you in trouble, because then you wouldn't be on the side of the angels and trouble would be knocking at your door. And it would come very quickly. And that is why you need to be on your guard and really be on the up and up right now if you can, Pisces. And don't move too fast or be around other people that want you to move too fast. It would be to your detriment. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and hear the podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.